Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining in here. Really appreciate it when you pop on by. It is July 14th, 2026, and it's pretty hot today, kind of. It's we're sitting at 23 degrees Celsius. It feels like it's 28, high of 30 with a low of 14. That sounds pretty crazy. Um, I have a feeling, oh, it's supposed to get uh hotter later. Okay, well, go figure. Also trying to get used to a different phone. Typically, I was using an iPhone and then I switched over to Motorola. So there. Um, so I am making this episode today because I went to a class. Okay, well, there's a whole story. Yesterday, I just wanted to like rip my hair out, but I did not. It was a whole thing. And typically, it takes a long time to get to like irritated and annoyed. But yesterday was just a day. And my friends were there for me. They're like, well, do you want to hang out? And I'm like, no. Uh, but it was funny. I was, okay, so I was doing a whole bunch of things. I wanted to go to yoga. And good thing I realized that I did not have my yoga mat with me. So I was like, okay, I'll go see if I can find a cheap one. Well, everywhere I went, the lineups were super slow. Slow, just slow. And on top of that, the parking lot was like not quite busy, but this one person behind me had no patience whatsoever and drove behind me to take a right where I was trying to park. And it was just, and they were honking and getting mad. And it was such a day. I was like, I wish that they would hop out of their car and scream and yell at me. I typically, when people do that, not that it happens very often, but it's like sometimes there's like zero reaction. Anyways, so I went to one store and it was like $150 for a yoga mat that I know is not good because a yoga instructor was talking to me saying, you know, these mats like they're not very good. They're very slippery. I wouldn't recommend buying them. And I was like, okay, so I don't know what brand it was. It was a specific mat though with a specific like surface on it. And so then I know regular yoga mats, so I go to this other place and it's 20 bucks and it's perfect. And I'm like, fine. So I grab the $20 mat and I'm off to my class. Now get this. As I go to unroll the mat, it says let go. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Really cool. That's what we'll be talking about today. And so then so I said to the instructor, because there's a whole bunch of things happening that day, and I only had like basically one meal. But I was like, oh, like, so I talked to her about like when to eat a meal and like in regards to like blood sugars and stuff. And she's like, well, I don't typically eat right before, but you know, you don't want to be in the yoga class and then have your blood sugars go all wonky. But I was fine. It was all good. But I was like, if I lay on the floor, I am kaput. There is no way I'll be able to do anything. So that's just a heads up. But the course was so amazing that like it was very calm and guided and relaxing and the poses held were awesome like because you hold for like a minute to 2 minutes to 3 minutes. And anyways, like I love that deep stretch because I also lift weights, so with lifting weights and stretching for like a whole hour, that's like perfect for me. So anyways, at the end of the class, she starts talking about letting go. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool because I practice the art of letting go because it happens quite often. And this could be letting go, like for me, it's mostly relationships. I think some people think of letting go as in like, I mean, you could also think of letting go of your judgments or your self-hatred or hate in general or your anger, like letting go of things that you'll want to work on. But that I think those things are deeper level. But there's also letting go if there's like someone who passes away or someone who is close to you or grieving a marriage or a relationship. My one friend, a couple of my friends got divorced and So it's like, I wonder if people, what it is for them to let go and what it is for you to let go if you're listening. But, anyways, so with relationships and letting go, sometimes it'd be pretty difficult. And what made it easier for me is when my friend asked, well, do you ever go back to your exes? And I was like, well, I have. And she's like, well, there you go. Like, kind of making it not significant if you do go back. And I find that if you're listening to this and you're like trying to let go, some people don't want to let go, so then you can go down that rabbit hole of like, okay, will they come back? Like, will we be together or will I see them again? Like, you go down a rabbit hole, but then that could create a whole bunch of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Now, what I'm looking at doing is going into perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving, especially the knowing, because I find a lot of people, what they tend to do is they'll go into and say, I don't know. And I'm just like, okay, well, is that actually true? What is the I don't know? Like, I think people try to go into the I don't know so that they maybe don't have to do any work or that they don't have to think and someone else can just do it for them, or they just go into I don't know so they can get out of whatever they are, like, whatever's in front of them or whatever. Anyways, letting go. So it was really cool because in that class, she did an exercise on letting go, and it was very beautiful. And it was so cool because there's so many ways that you can consciously let go of, let's just say, a relationship. Relationships are interesting. I find people don't always have the capacity to chat and talk and come to closure. I think there are those people who kind of they'll just leave and ghost and not have a conversation and not have the maturity to give the person a conversation or even a text, because things happen. People die, people get sick, emergencies happen, so you never know. But then there's also the flip side of they're fine, they're just partying, being drunk or getting high, or they're fine, they're just working and enjoying their life and I don't know, having affairs or whatever. There's so many different facets of life, and if you're in a relationship with someone, the coolest thing that happened to me was uh, I had a friend and we were basically going separate ways, and we ended up having a really nice time for closure where we sat down and had a coffee and chatted and just talked and like said, apologized and talked about feelings and kind of maybe tried to reconcile a friendship, but it just didn't work and go that way. But, at least we tried everything we could to create something greater. And that is what I love about my life and living, is because I always look at what could be greater, what is possible, what are we working towards. So you might be sitting here being like, well, how do you let go? How do you let go? Or will I ever let go? Do you want to let go? Like, look at these questions, because I don't think my podcast is meant to give people answers and tell them what to do and like say, well, this is the right thing. Here is the equation to let go. Here is the equation for trust. Because that actually happened in a presentation once. It was cool. This teacher said to me, she said, well, would you like to come to a presentation? It's this person who has created businesses and major projects, and this is their life, and they'd like to share with this class of mine. And there were only like four people in this class. And I was invited to a college course, and I was in college, but it was, oh, university, sorry. So a lady invited me to go to this university for a presentation. And there was this guy, this student, who was getting five master's degrees. And then the person giving the presentation was talking about trust and dreams. And he said, so the person who was talking about trust and dreams said, well, with all of these projects, it's creating trust. And so this student who is getting five master's degrees said, what is the equation to trust? And so there was no answer to that, but he sat there. They probably sat there for half an hour And I've never heard that question before. It's like, what is the answer to trust? Like, how do you create trust? But what is the equation? Like, as if there'd be like, uh, two lies equal a truth. Just kidding. That's not truthful or real at all. So do not listen to what I just said. Two lies equal a truth. Well, an equation. So it's like A plus B equals C is what he was looking for. And the presenter said, it's like building, a positive relationship and creating trust. It's just something that is created and built. There is no, you know, uh, equation. And with dreams, all people say, like so many people say, just follow your dreams. Do not give up on your dreams. But what we tend to do, I think, is we give up. We give up on our dreams and just forget about it. And then we kind of get lost and we get into this reality of monotonous of like work or not work or pain or suffering, whatever the fuck it is you try to look at. And then we go back to, oh yeah, but I had this dream, that I wanted to have this, I don't know, business to create or whatever, the website to create or a wonderful life of happiness and travel or whatever it is that your dreams are. Stevie Nicks once said at a concert, she said, when I was a little girl, I always had a dream that I'd be in a band. And then she was in Fleetwood Mac. She's like, don't give up on your dreams. So, and many, many people have said that. Now, back to the equation and trust and letting go. So, there is no answer to letting go, except for if you would like to. I've noticed that when I was looking at a relationship, I have my fist bunched up here and it's like squeezing my fist as hard as I can because that is what it felt like in a relationship with someone that, I was with. And it was like, it was interesting because there was, okay, so what is that? Is that control? Is that kindness, happiness? Is that trying to hold on and not let go? So it's like, but on top of that, that energy of that really tight, bunched up energy, like no space to breathe. It's like, well, what if they could breathe and let go? How much more space could you create in the relationship? So, are you looking at having a relationship of space, kindness, trust, and fun? So, what is fun to you? Or do we get into this like computation of like, okay, it has to be the right way, and then the projections and expectations? So on deeper levels, as we go through this, because you might think like, oh, I just want to let go of this person, or what else is possible? So it's like, could we start to let go of any projections that we had? Or what were we projecting? And then what were our expectations? So also with, letting go in relationship, it's like it is doing the work on yourself as well. People don't want to do the work on themselves. People want to be loved for who they are, which is great. There are people who are literally loved for who they are. But if you're here and you're kind of like asking a question, wondering if there's any change, wondering how to change, wondering how your life could get greater. So I'm assuming if you're listening to my podcast, you would like to change something or you're curious or you love my voice because most people do. Or you're looking for, well, if you're looking for an answer, I mean, I will tend to not direct you to an answer. But what we're looking at here is kind of like asking questions and then seeing like, oh, well, perfect example. My friend, okay, oh my God. I was hanging out with my friend and I just love my friend. I wish them well. We don't talk, but we never ended on a bad note. And, life goes on. They got a partner and then they just continued on with their life, but I love them. Yeah, anyways. So one time we were hanging out and then so we're hanging out one night and then the next day my friend calls me and says, Shawna, I woke up and realized that all the worry that I had, all the anxiety of a relationship, of thinking, oh my God, are they cheating? where are they? Oh my God, they're not here. Like all the anxieties of a relationship and like flipping out as to where their partner is. This person was like, I just realized that that is my mother's and that I took that on and I've been holding on to that my whole entire life. And I was like, oh, cool. And then when you hear things like that, when you hear someone going through this, I've had so many people have these miraculous aha moments where they're like, oh my God, this is life changing, phenomenal, miraculous. They're like, holy, they're flipping out. And then I listen to them and I'm happy and I'm like, cool, that's cool. Like, maybe we should buy a cake next time and have a celebration and get some balloons and like fireworks or like drones with lights on them. I don't know. Um, I'm not downplaying these fucking miraculous happenings because what's so cool about this is something so deep that this person was holding on to their whole life. And one day they just woke up and they're like, this is not mine. So it depends on where you want to go with this. You can be aware, you can become aware. So, like, I have some people who just really would prefer not to put the work into themselves. And then, so sometimes being pathetic works for people because then they get taken care of. So they're like, oh, my foot hurts and I have a headache, therefore I cannot do anything. So please pay for everything and take care of me. There's people, it works for people. And the conversations with some people, they have admitted it, and they have come out and just said, I prefer to do this, this, and this because it works for me. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. At least they're aware of it. So what we're looking at is getting aware of where we're at and what we would like to do and change. Now, the whole letting go part, consciously letting go for me would be like sitting with, sometimes I look at a feeling and so the process with me is if a feeling comes up, I'm like, okay, is this mine? What is going on here? What is this? Who does this belong to? Is it someone else's that I'm aware of? Is it the earth? I'll ask questions. A lot of people, kind of look at this and it might be unreal to them, but like biology is real, chemistry is real. There is such thing as energy. So, it's like if you go shopping and you buy a chocolate bar and you eat 20 chocolate bars and you gain weight, well, you've gotten that from the chocolate bar. But like, so if you are a computer or not a, yes, well, you can treat, some people treat themselves like computers because we're like stuck in an algorithm. Anyways, I digress. But you can take on things is what I'm saying. So, but people tend to think that there's only one way that we've been taught. And so what I'm saying is that you can take on feelings, thoughts, feelings, and emotions from people and take it on as yours and live it as yours. And that's what my friend was doing. Or what I do is I'm like, okay, so if there wasn't, so I woke up this morning and there was like a bit of a feeling. So I sat there and I was kind of breathing through it and I was like looking at it and I was like, okay, cool. I can sit with this, no problem. Cool. I can sit with this feeling and look at it and be with it, be present with it. But then I also went and I was like, is this mine or who does this belong to? And it kind of shifted and lightened up. And I was like, okay, well, return to sender with consciousness attached and did that. And so let's just say there are friendships or relationships or lovers. And like, I think sometimes we get into these heart feelings or thoughts or these very deep rooted feelings. And it's like, well, sometimes I look at this. And so if I had like, well, okay, so there's good relationships that I miss. And then there's like weird, bad relationships that I was like, well, what was like, that was stupid. Um, with the stupid relationships that I've had, I do not give it any thought. I have no emotional ties or feelings to it. It's gone. It's done. I'm like, I've let go. But on the other hand, with these relationships that were meaningful, I love them, I miss them, I wish them well, where there's a bit of like energy still there, or like a pull or a feeling or whatever it is, there's something still there. I think a lot of people also have this too. Like if you've gone through a divorce or if you miss your loved one, like someone in your family passed away or whatever, I look at it as though we can still be connected. We can still talk, but and we can always have what we had, the good times, like that energy and that love and the connection and the bond. It can always still be there. And actually, okay, there's this part. I actually watched Moana. The other day. So there is this part in the movie which I feel deeply connected to. So I think people come from their own backgrounds and cultures and religions, and they believe what they believe, but then they think everybody else should believe what they believe, and then they don't believe what I believe. Anyways, whatever. All that is just, you know, neither here nor there. Anyways, in this movie, the grandmother says, no matter where you are, I will always be with you. And that was like very beautiful because, Moana and her grandmother loved each other. But taking that into context with like knowing that the energy was there and it was beautiful, there were great, conversations or moments had, it's like I can look at that and appreciate that and say, cool, thank you, and go on and move on. If there's this constant pull, it's like, okay, so what is this? You can play with energy pulls, you can flow energy, you can also just cut it off and be like, no, this is a choice where I'm not doing this and I'm moving on. But keep in mind where your energy goes as well. Are you stuck in this loophole of like a constant like battle? Is it constantly something that is coming up? Anyways, so I'm gonna cut this short here, but I will consciously look at a feeling. But if it's a person, like I will look at that and appreciate everything that has happened and then kind of say thank you and move forward. And I will consciously let go. So there are exercises to let go. And I will say, I will energetically untether the energies and create things as lighter and peacefully too. I'll be like, I wish this person well with every single person, even with those bad relationships or the bad friendships or the weird people. I'll be like, cool, that was great, see you later. Wish you well, have a good life, see ya. But on those deeper levels, on the topic of letting go, those deeper levels can go into like it's like if you would like to do the work and if you'd like to let go, you could say like, okay, I am energetically letting go of this. And you might not even need words. Could be energetics where you sit there. Now, hold on. If you're getting kind of stuck, look at the energy and ask the question, who does this belong to? Or what is this? And wait for your awareness to come up around that. And like you can even like cleanse energetically too. Like, surround yourself with some white light, let go of anything dark that is not like required. And then like, yeah, I will consciously let go. And then the exercise yesterday from the yoga teacher was absolutely beautiful. And just have fun with it. I give myself space to cry too. I'm like, do I have to cry? And I'll sit there and see if I have to cry. And then I'll move on. But also, like, it is nice to heal. I'll probably make a couple of, podcasts more. And if you want to, you can request it, any topic, whatever. But also, letting go, I think, is just something that is a practice. And it's not having a chip on your shoulder and being like, well, fuck this, I'm letting go. Fuck you, fuck that, fuck everything. Because then what happens is you're fighting yourself, you're fighting something that's not there, you're fighting the other person who's not there. You're doing a lot of things, you're doing a lot of work to create yourself as in a fight and not letting go. So letting go can be expansive and beautiful, even if you didn't get that closure and that conversation that you so wanted, needed, and desired, because let it go and over time you'll look at it and you can move on. So I think the point is to heal all of that and then let go, and then you can move on. So what we're doing is we're letting go so that more can come to you and something that is greater. Because if something is gone in your life or somebody, then it's like, well, how, like if that was a great relationship, but there are a billion people on this planet, it's like, well, how many more people who are kind and fun, and that like if someone gave you like, I don't know, great sex, great conversation, happiness and joy with each other with that chemistry, well, how many more people can come into your life that are greater? So keep asking for something greater.